So, welcome back to our discussion about limit of a function at a point. That was what we were started looking at in the previous lecture. So, in this lecture we will continue our discussion about the same. So, let me just recall what we had defined in the previous lecture and do some one or two examples to illustrate this idea a bit more. So, let us look at what is called the limit of a function at a point. So, we said f is a function say defined on a domain D in R to R. So, f is a function defined in a domain D, and let us take a point C belonging to R such that f is defined at all points near C. See, we are not saying C belongs to the domain of the function, but it should be defined. So, one way of saying is that there exists some say alpha belonging to R, alpha bigger than 0, such that if I look at on the left side, then I have got C minus alpha up to C. At least in this portion, the function should be defined. So, at all points on the left and all points on the right. So, we should have from C to C plus alpha. So, maybe at the point C, which may not be defined, but at least this should be part of the domain. So, in that case, we can define what is called the limit. We say that the limit of x going to C of f x is equal to L if for every sequence Cn in this part. So, let us call this as A. For every Cn belonging to A, Cn converging to the point C should imply that f of Cn converges to L. So, for every sequence at all points where it is defined, so for every sequence Cn in the domain Cn converging to C, f of Cn should converge to the value L. Then we say that the limit of the function exists and is equal to L. So, that is the concept of limit. So, we looked at the previous example that we looked at was f of x is equal to 1 over 1 minus x, x not equal to 1. So, in this example, what is the domain of the function? The domain of the function is equal to whole real line minus the point 1. That is the domain of the function, right? At the point 1, it is not defined. But so, which is also the same as minus infinity to 1 union 1 to infinity. So, that is the domain of the function, right. So, let us take a sequence. We want to know, does limit x going to 1 f x exist? So, that is the question we want to analyze. So, to answer this, let us take a sequence Cn. Cn belong to domain of f such that Cn converges to 1. We want to analyze the limit at 1. So, pick up any sequence Cn in the domain, right, so that Cn converges to 1. Then let us look at the sequence f of Cn. So, what is f of Cn? By the formula, it is 1 over 1 minus Cn. Now, as Cn goes to 1, 1 minus Cn, that goes to 0. So, this denominator is becoming smaller and it is going to 0 by the limit theorems for sequences. So, this will go to a value which is equal to, if this quantity is positive, that means if all the Cn's are less than 1, right, then this will go to plus infinity. If our Cn's belong to minus infinity to 1, right, and this will converge to minus infinity if Cn's belong to 1 to plus infinity. So, in either case we see that the limit does not exist. So, whether we take a sequence Cn converging to 1, then f of Cn does not converge to a suitable value. So, that means we can write it as that the limit, so hence limit x going to 1 of f of x, which is does not exist for f of x equal to 1 over x minus 1, right. Okay. Let us look at another example. So, let us look at another example. Let us say f of x is defined as x square plus 2 if x is less than 0, and defined as minus x plus 1 if x is bigger than 0, right. So, we want to know, so the question, does limit x going to 0 of f x exist? Well, now here we have to start looking at the function and try to make a guess. For x less than 0, it is defined as differently, and it is defined differently for values x bigger than 0. So, it may be a good idea to look for sequences which are less than 0 and bigger than 0 and test whether at least for those sequences whether the image sequences converge somewhere or not. So, let us look at, so consider xn bigger than 0 and xn converging to 0. So, when xn is bigger than 0 and xn converges to 0, then what is f of xn? For x bigger than 0, f is defined this way. The formula is minus x plus 1. So, that gives you that this value is minus of xn plus 1 for every n. F of xn is this. Now, xn is going to 0. So, by the limit theorems on sequences, minus xn will go to 0, minus xn plus 1 will go to 1. So, this value is equal to 1, right. Let us look at a sequence where xn is less than 0. So, let xn be less than 0 and xn going to 0. Then, what is f of xn? F of xn is equal to, by the formula. So, just recall, the formula is for xn less than 0, the formula is x square plus 2. So, it is equal to x square xn square plus 2. Now, xn goes to 0. So, by the limit theorems, if xn goes to a and yn goes to b, then xn yn goes to a into b. So, using that, we get that this converges to xn goes to 0. So, this converges to 2, right. So, this converges to 2 because xn goes to 0, xn square goes to 0, this goes to 2. So, we have got, if I look at a sequence, so if I look at, so we can write it as limit of f of xn n going to infinity, xn bigger than 0 is equal to 0, whereas limit f of xn n going to infinity for xn less than 0 is 2. So, these two indicate, so imply that for we have got different sequences, both all going to 0, but the values of the image sequences are different. So, that says that the limit n going to infinity of limit of the function f of x as x goes to 0 does not exist. That does not exist. So, what we have been trying to do is trying to in the concept of limit, when we are trying to approach the point for where we are trying to find out the limit x going to c. So, we are approaching the point c via sequences. There is another way of looking at this concept of limit via the notion of neighborhoods, which is not very difficult, but in fact, it is similar to what we are doing. So, let me introduce that idea also, so that we are able to use whichever is required. So, let us once again, f is a function defined in a domain D, subset of R to R. C is a point in R such that for some alpha C minus alpha union C minus alpha to C, this interval union, we want to say that it is defined at all points near C. So, for some interval around C except at the point C, so that is C to C plus alpha is inside the domain. So, that condition is given. So, this is what is given to us. We want to say whether the limit, when can we say that limit x going to c of f of x is equal to L. Now, let me draw a picture. So, this is the domain part and this is the range part of it. So, this is the point C. Okay. So, for every point to C near, so this is C minus alpha and this is C plus alpha. So, here is some C plus alpha. So, that means for all points in this part, the function is defined, they are part of the domain. So, if I take a point x, where does the value go? So, for a point x, it goes to some value f of x, right. So, that is my function. Now, we want to say that as you approach the point C, right, as you approach, your f of x will approach some value L or not. So, x approaching C, does it imply f of x approaches L? So, we want to give this a precise meaning. One we have already seen via sequences. If I can say for every sequence xn going to C, f xn converges to L, then we say that is the limit. Okay. I want to define it slightly differently here. So, so what is that L? Right. So, L is the value. So, L is the value the function f is expected to take at x is equal to C by looking at f of x for x near C. So, that is what we want to do. So, at a point x near C, f of x is the actual value the function takes and L is the value that we are expecting the function to take. So, how much error or how much is the error? So, this is the distance between the two. So, this is the error one is making. This is the value probably we expect the function to take. This is the actual value being taken. So, this is the error the function is making. And we want this error to be small, this to be small. For what x? For all x close to C. So, this is what we want to do. So, we can also visualize it x close to C means what? So, let us make that also precise. x close to c, the same as saying x minus c is small, right? That is the distance. So, distance between f x and L is small for all x close to this. To make this slightly more precise, now we want this value to be small, right? We want to say as x comes closer to c, f of x is coming closer to c, right? So, how close? That we will say beforehand, I want it this much close. So, one writes given a number epsilon bigger than 0. I want this error, you can think this as an error being made. This is the actual value, this is the expected value, this is the error. So, if we want error to be small, given epsilon, we want f x minus L to be less than epsilon. We want the error to be small. By the way, this Greek letter epsilon is something equivalent to the English alphabet E. So, error we write as epsilon. So, this is epsilon. Okay. So, we want this to be small when x minus c is small. But how small? Right? What are the smallness for x minus c? So, we say it more precisely as that once you are given a margin for error, I should be able to say that for all points sufficiently close, this is true. So, that sufficiently close is specified as follows. So, given epsilon bigger than 0, that is a margin for error, there exists some positive real number delta bigger than 0 such that if x is close to c by delta, by the distance delta, of course not equal to c. So, we put bigger than 0, then this should imply that f of x is close to L by that pre-specified margin for error. So, this is precisely saying if this happens, then we say limit x going to c f x is equal to L. So, in a sense, here we are saying all points close to c, f of x is close to this. Earlier we had the closeness in terms of sequences. For every sequence, when a sequence xn is converging to c, it is going to come close as you want, right? And f of xn is converging to L, so that is going to come close as you want. So, the notion of limit, one is via sequences, namely this limit exists if for every sequence xn converging to c, f of xn converges to the same limit L, or we can also say it by this way, that for every margin for error, for every given epsilon, there exists a delta bigger than 0 such that whenever x is close to c by delta, f x is close to this by epsilon. I can also exhibit to you this as a picture. So, let us look at in the picture, this is x and this is y, right. So, what we want to do is there is a point C where we want to analyze the limit and we want to say that the limit is equal to some value L, right. So, when you say given epsilon bigger than 0, right, x minus c, there is a delta such that this happens. So, given epsilon, you want to say distance between f x and L is less than epsilon. That is same as saying if this is L minus epsilon and this is L plus epsilon. So, you want your f of x to be inside this value, right. For what x? Whenever x minus delta and x plus delta. When there is a delta, so that x minus c, the distance. So, if I take this portion and then I take any point, if I take any point here, say this is C minus and this is C plus. If I take any point x here in between and I look at where does the graph hits, so the graph of the function should lie between, should be visible in this. That means the graph of the function for these values should look like something this, right. That is how the graph should look like, because for every point, if I look at the value, right, it will be inside here. If I look at a point, the value will be inside here. If I look at a point, the value will be. So this is the error for margin, and this is the neighborhood, or this is the interval around C, which we should be able to find. So this is given and there exists. Error for margin is pre-specified, and the interval around delta you have to find out if you want to say this is equal to this. So this is what is called the epsilon delta definition of the concept of limit of a function at a point. So either one can be used depending upon the convenience. So let us look at one example in this way also. So let us look at that example that we had f of x is equal to 2x plus 1 if x is not equal to 1, and we had this equal to 5 if x is equal to 1, right. By the sequences we said limit of x going to 1 f of x is equal to 3, right. That limit is equal to 3, because if I take a sequence, so the reason was if xn converges to 1, then f of xn is equal to 2xn plus 1, and that converges to 3. So the limit should be equal to 2 plus 1. So that is what we establish by the definition of sequences. Let us try to do an analysis. So let us say given epsilon bigger than 0, can we find delta bigger than 0 such that mod of fx minus, here the value expected is 3, less than epsilon for 0 less than mod of x minus 1 less than delta. So this is what we want to do. So what we want is we want to make fx minus 3 small. So let us start analyzing that quantity. What is fx minus 3? So let us analyze that quantity a bit. So the quantity which we want to make smaller than epsilon is f of x minus 3, right. So let us put the value of f. F is equal to, when it is not equal to 1, the value is 2x plus 1. So this is equal to 2x plus 1 minus 3, right. So let us simplify this. So this is 2x minus 2, which is equal to 2 times x minus 1, right. So we want 2 times x minus 1 less than epsilon for some delta, for which mod x minus 1 will be less than delta. So we want, whenever this is true, this should be true. So now let us just compare. I want 2x minus 1 to be less than epsilon, but if I find a delta, that is going to give me x minus 1 is less than delta. So both these things motivate one to say, let us choose delta bigger than 0. So we have to find some. So let us choose delta bigger than 0 such that 2 times x minus 1 is less than delta, right. we can always do that, right. So, that means x is between. So, in a neighborhood around 1 minus delta to 1 plus delta. So, we can do that. Then what is f of x? So, look at this equation. So, we had f of x minus 3 was equal to 2 times x minus 1. So, if x is delta is such that 2 times this is less than 1, then x minus 1 is less than, right, then x minus 1 is less than is such that okay, either way we can do it, but okay, let us choose delta, say that this is less than delta, then this is going to be less than delta. So, if delta is less than epsilon, that will do the job, right. So, we can choose delta less than epsilon provided your delta is this, or another way of that would be, let us choose a delta such that, let us cancel out this 2. Okay. So, anyway, we are going to choose that this is less than delta, right. So, or if it is 2 times this, then it will be 2 delta. So, it will be 2 delta, and that should be less than epsilon. So, this is how you analyze if you want f x minus L less than epsilon. So, first analyze f x minus L, you will get this value, and somehow you should try to bring in x minus c. So, that is x minus c is 1 here, I have to try to bring in x minus c. So, that is this quantity. Okay. So, because x minus 1 is going to be less than delta, our delta is going to be such that this is true. So, this quantity is going to be less than 2 delta. So, 2 delta should be less than epsilon. So, claim is given epsilon bigger than 0, choose any delta such that 2 delta is less than epsilon, then 0 less than x minus 1 less than delta will imply f x minus 3, which is equal to 2 times x minus 1, which is less than 2 delta will be less than epsilon. So, that will prove that the limit by this method x going to 1 f x is also equal to 3. So, that will also prove that way. So, this is called the epsilon delta method of checking whether something, the limit exists or not. I will not specify too much for the epsilon delta method of finding limits. Most of the time we will give you some more rules to analyze limits, whether epsilon delta or sequence method, and using those rules one will be able to analyze the limits of a function at a point whether it exists or not. So, let me just summarize. We have tried to give you a feeling for what is meant by saying that the limit of a function at a point exists. That says that you want to say that limit of f of x, x going to c exists. So, first of all, the point c need not be in the domain of the function, that is 1, but we need that the function should be defined at points close to the value c. So, at all points close to this value c, the function should be defined, that should be in the domain. So, that means what? Given a point c, there are points, there are sequences in the domain which we can find which converge to the value c. And the limit exists, says that for any sequence Cn which converges to c, f of Cn should converge to the value L, same value L, then we will say that the limit exists. And we also gave an alternate definition, which is the neighborhood definition. It says given epsilon bigger than 0, right. You look at given an epsilon bigger than 0, the error f x minus L you want to make less than epsilon. So, for that you should be able to find a delta bigger than 0, so that for all points in a neighborhood of delta of length 2 delta at the point c, of course not equal to c, the f of x should be close to L by at the most, it should not go away from L by distance L. So, given epsilon bigger than 0, there is a delta such that x minus c strictly bigger than 0 less than delta implies absolute value of f x minus c is less than epsilon. So, we will continue this discussion of limit and its applications in our next lecture. Thank you.